Hello, my darlings. I hope you're all well and having a fabulous day. In today's show, we are having a live discussion on Love is Blind, Season 6, Episodes 1 to 6. And I have some very, very special guests in the building today. We have, to my left, Dr. Fred, and we have to my right, Onyx. Introduce yourself, guys.
Hello, yeah. I've been watching Love is Blind and I've come to give a male perspective.
Come on.
So that's it, really.
All right, Onyx.
Hi, I'm Onyx and I've been watching Love is Blind since the first season.
So Onyx brings the history, trust me, she brings the history. And Dr. Fred, let's just call him our resident body language expert. But guys, we're just gonna get into it. I feel like I don't even know where to start. First of all, let's talk about how Netflix did us, okay? Dropping 6 episodes, like in the first drop. That's a bit mad. That's too much, right?
Yeah, that was a lot.
Because, like, Thursday, dropped on Thursday, the 14th? Or was that Wednesday?
Tuesday.
No. So it dropped on the 14th, dropped on Valentine's, but literally, it's been a lot. Put it this way, I only finished watching episode 6 today.
Yeah. I've had to space it out because I've got other things to do, obviously. But yeah, the way they've condensed it, maybe they're not trying to avoid spoilers and they're just trying to give you a package before they spoon feed you the rest. True.
Or maybe they just wanted to get us up to the honeymoon before they cut it. Do you know what I mean? Before I don't know what the rationale is for this, but I'm not sure that I like this delivery. It's a bit too much to take in.
But then I think maybe it would have been longer if they'd done 3 every week. It would go way into March, innit? Because it's not supposed to be like a long series, is it?
True.
We just get every other week or every week a certain amount of episodes dropped, so it gives you enough time to digest it, process it, and then the following week you should have been able to caught up to watch the new 3 episodes that are coming along.
True. So, okay, right. Episodes 1 to 4 were basically, you know, the couples getting together. We touched on this in the recap. I don't even think we're going to summarise episodes 1 to 4 because we really have touched on this in the reviews. If you haven't already, check out the reviews, guys. But the couples that made it, right, let's list them off now. We've got Amy and Johnny, Brittany and Kenneth, AD and Clay, Laura and Jeremy, and Jimmy and Chelsea. Where do we start?
Brittany and Kenneth.
Let's go.
Brittany and Kenneth. Well, I could start with the body language. I did notice something from Brittany, and I think she put her tongue towards her cheek when she found out that the man was actually black. So I don't know whether that's an indicator for shocking news or she could have been nervous. I'm not too sure. It could be one of the two. But I didn't interpret it as she took the news correctly. And she's very sensitive when it comes to black issues. Like, she's not. I don't think she's familiar with the black experience or culture.
I think, okay, so I can't.
This is just based on her body language and her actual the way she speaks about black people.
I think she was a bit rigid. I agree with you, but then, okay, when she went into the pod and she was like, they got into the pod, the date started, and the first thing she opened up with is, "Can I assume you're black? Or, you know, are you, you know, what colour are you?" And he's like, "I'm black." I think she says, "Can I assume?" Or I think she just asked the question, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it was the first bit of the date. They got talking, and then further on down the line is when she's then asked.
No, it was as soon as she got in. Just there was like, "Oh, hi, blah blah blah." She was like, "Oh my God, you got me a salad," and then yeah.
Oh, I don't recall, but yeah.
Yeah, basically they got into the pods, the date was set up, there was drawing, and then there was a salad, and she was sitting down, and like basically they got comfortable, did their introductions, and then he was like, she was like, so what, you know, what's your ethnicity? And then he was like, oh, I'm black. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. Which is what you're referencing to when you're saying that she put her tongue in her cheek.
Yeah, because Kenneth seems very pro-black. If you ask what if you like, he comes across as a strong black man. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I can't explain it in a way, but in the mannerisms and the tone of his language, it comes across as very strong and a dominant black man.
Okay, I don't get that from him.
If you never got that from him, because where he spoke, it sounded like he had a size on him. Like
yeah, she picked up that he was big.
Yeah, he spoke with volume, so therefore that assumes a strong black man.
Okay.
If that makes sense, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he said that this is his first time dating a white person, so the both are going to be anxious or nervous about this because they've never explored this before. So I think some things, yeah, Brittany might be a bit scared or might not know what to say or how to approach certain things, and vice versa for him as well. As a black man living in certain parts of America, yeah, he might feel a bit, you know, uncomfortable, or how is he going to be managing that in terms of when he brings her to introduces her to the family, how's that going to go? And in terms of like kids as well, AD made a great point, like you're pro-black, but at the end of the day your children are going to be identified as black, and that's a conversation and things that they would need to discuss further.
But I think what AD said as well, which I thought was nice, that you're pro-black, but that doesn't mean that there's a problem with you dating somebody that's not black.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But she's just saying, you know, are you going to be comfortable, you know, outside of this bubble, you know, with this situation? I think Brittany was trying to be politically correct. I think she didn't want to. I think she's just trying to be politically correct, because even I think just before she was about to meet him for the proposal, she was like, he identifies as a black male, and I was thinking, this sounds stiff.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? It sounded
very rigid.
Yeah.
And more adding more to the point, what you said, when the body language of them meeting for the first time, it was very rigid. She touched his face about once or twice. She tried to sit him down immediately, and then when they did sit down, it was very awkward, standoffy. It was very like, it wasn't like any of the other couples where they was all over each other.
But even, and then exactly, you know I agree with you. But then I think even when they got to the island, there were like two, I don't even want to say brothers and sisters. There were like two friends staying with each other in a hotel room. Like, I don't know. So the first scene was them brushing their teeth together. And again, I don't want to blame Netflix's editing, but I feel like the editing that they're doing is doing a real number on some of the contestants at the moment. To me, there was just no chemistry whatsoever. The rose petals were on the bed. She literally got in the bed and like they both just dusted the rose petals off. Like, no romance, no kissing, no touching, no hugging, you know, no kissing. Like, there weren't, everybody else was all over each other-ish, but the majority. But those two were just stiff. And then he got into bed and he's like, every night I want us to do a retrospective of our day. And I was thinking, oh my God, really? Like...
But I think, as she said in the pods about the intimacy, and he asked, what would you be waiting for marriage before we have relationships? So I think she didn't know, or he had to ask how far can he go. Even though she might have said, no, can we wait until marriage, she might be still willing to do other stuff.
Well, she said in the... so when they were on the beach, when she was on the beach with the girls, she said to him, even though I don't want to be intimate, I am the sort of woman that likes to be grabbed and touched. So feel free to do that. And then the other girl, I think it was Laura, she was like, well, has he been doing that? And she was like, yeah. And I was thinking, you're lying. I know you're lying. Because out of all of their couples on that beach, they were the only couple that I didn't see like have any physical connection.
Not hardly kissed. It was very wooden. It was like, I don't know whether it's for the cameras or I'm not too sure what it is, but we will get to see the following episodes, and I'm looking forward to how it unfolds and looking at the body language of all the contestants, really.
Yeah, 100%. But what do we think of Kenneth though as a person? It's like what? Basically, the reason I point this out is because I don't know. There's something about him that I can't quite put my finger on.
We didn't get much from him. I think in the next few episodes, hopefully we get to see more of them, so we get a better idea, because we only met him later on into the episodes, didn't we?
Yeah.
We didn't meet him first off, like AD and Clay and so on. So I think the more we watch, the more we learn about him. But there is something about him, and I think he had to grow up really quickly due to his mum passing at a young age. So I think that shaped how he is now. And him being a principal, there's certain authority, a certain...
It comes across as quite responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And he already stated that he's got a church background, so he's very much religious. I think he does place religion very high.
Yeah.
In his ethos on the way he lives his life.
Yeah.
So
that could be even why he's probably like pulling back.
Yeah.
In terms of like how he's like carrying himself, because he doesn't want to. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a Christian. She's a Christian. They're both Christians, yeah. And obviously that's probably like the main point that they connect on outside of their personality. But I feel like he's. I don't feel like we're getting 100 from him.
Nah, definitely. I feel like there's some sort of reservedness that he's showing, and there's maybe another side of him that he's not presenting. Because, as I said, you're under a lot of pressure on these shows, because the world is going to be watching, so you're going to act, or you might not present yourself in a manner that you would normally do it in a day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amy and Johnny?
I like them.
They're
I think
sweet.
they're a nice couple. Yeah, I do like them. I think they had some really deep conversations about their fears, and I really like that Amy opened up about her brother and
yes,
in terms of what would happen if she had to have her brother, and would he be supportive of
Yeah,
that?
100.
And I liked his response, and I
100.
liked that he felt the same way if he had to take care of any of his siblings or family members, that she would do the same. So I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
To know that even during the difficult times, he would be there to support her during that. So I thought that was really good.
Out of all of the couples, I feel like they've got the most genuine connection, I think.
Yeah, then again, it might be a background clash. It may be a background clash could come in their head, because some of the things they've said, and where they might seem jovial and playful in this setting, it's not real life. So some of the things they've said and done regarding, she said, for instance, this is the first time she's dated out of her race.
Yeah. She said that a couple of times.
Mentioned that. She said she normally goes for a browner man, to be fair, and he's quite jokified. Everything seems to be a playful mood, seems to be very jovial, and he likes to laugh a lot and play little games, and maybe in the real world that might not suit her reality. We'll see, really.
I think one of the I think we were saying this earlier off recording, but I feel like this season has really touched on diversity and clashes in diversity. Like, it's mad. It's coming from, all over, loads of different aspects and pockets here. I feel like, do you know what I mean? Because there's more
100%.
than, you've got the
100%. You've
diversity.
Got the racial aspect.
I was going to say the racial aspect. There's quite a lot of small town people here as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You've
and
got
there's
the urban and versus rural aspect.
yeah, there you go.
You've got locational You've got development issues.
This is true,
where
because some
people are unconfident. Some people you've got
100%.
confidence dynamics.
100%. Even
loads of areas where people. So sorry to cut you.
yeah,
Loads of areas where people can clash.
absolutely.
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
even like two of the people on there have said they've never travelled before.
Correct.
I think one of them said he's making up for that now, which was Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah.
And he's going to go to all the NFLs and the basketball games, which is really good.
Yeah.
So I think whoever...
Hence his connection with Chelsea.
Yeah, so I think that's good because works in...
She's an air hostess. Don't tell me he only wants to be with her because she's an air hostess.
Yeah, I think when we move on to them two, we can discuss them a bit more.
Yeah.
But sorry, we're talking about Amy and Johnny. Yeah, I think with those two, I feel like, because one thing for sure, she's like, we're growing and growing. My love for him is growing every single day because I'm just so not used to this, to being with a man like him. And quite a few times as well, she said, oh, if I was out, he's not the sort of person I'd walk up to in a room and and talk to.
100%.
And keeps making a point
making
about that.
To it,
yeah, but then at the same time, I can understand that it must be difficult because she's completely stepping out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
And doing something that is not her norm. But I just feel like they just click so well, and to me, their relationship comes across the most genuine out of all of the contestants on that show. They might as well have been on holiday by themselves. They didn't even... Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like...
I do agree, but I think when they go into the real world, that's when they're going to face problems. I think it's a bit early on because they haven't introduced each other, they haven't lived together yet. So I think when they all come out, that's when we're going to start to see the real cracks of things. That's really going to be the test, and it living together. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. It's very heavenly now, and how they're behaving now is really great. And it looks like they're trying to build a bond. They look like the most hardest couple, or they're trying so hard to build a bond with each other and get to like each other.
But it's coming across natural.
Yeah, it seems like they are, but it seems like they're really trying to get to adapt to each other, and understand what each other's wants are and needs are and everything.
Yeah.
So that's good. Hopefully all the best for them.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about Laura and Jeremy.
I think that Laura has made a mistake, and she's now starting to realise that because she keeps referencing that he's childish.
Yeah.
She's trying to fix him up in terms of the clothes and things that he can do, and which I don't agree with. In terms of the t-shirts, the motorbike and stuff like that, I don't think that's right. So I think you kind of have a playfulness about you, but I think there was moments when she expected him to be more serious and he wasn't, and I think that's really bothering her. And she's childish as well, but it comes across a different way. Not the same as him, because when he's in the pool, he's with the balloon and doing all of that. When she's kind of out of that, it does come across different.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, to me, I've always had since he appeared on the screen, I was like, okay, I just don't take to this guy, because in the first instance I thought he was a bit arrogant and just a bit. It's like he was showboating, but that could have been because of... He came across a bit arrogant and like he was, showboating. He was just doing the most, but I feel like you can definitely see that it's a bit of a facade. Do you know how Clay's like, I do all of this because it's my defense mechanism, and I feel like he's doing all of what he was doing because it was a bit of a defense mechanism.
He seems like a spoilt child.
He does seem like a spoilt child, but then as the episodes were going on and seeing more of him, and I was figuring him out, I'm like, do you know, he's not that bad. Do you know what I mean? he, to me, he is very immature, and he's very, or I don't want to say immature, but he's very playful, I will say that. But I also think that Laura is as equally as playful or childish as him. So much so, did you realise that she put her hands in his face to, like, when they was, like, messing about on the bed, she, like, literally, like, poked him in his head. And he was like, okay, like, you know, I can't remember what he said. He must have said something like, you know, I can't remember what exactly he said, but he just defended himself. She took it too far.
They're very flippant with each other from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? And they were very flippant with each other from the beginning, and you know, certain attitudes that he's got, he comes across too arrogant, and he likes to joke, and if he can't get his own way, as we've seen on the beach setting, he stormed off straight away. So I don't really understand how it would
Do you
work.
think he didn't get his own way at that time?
Yeah,
she set him up.
She set him up, but he could have easily diffused that situation if he had any like love for the woman. But immediately he said he wants to go home, and he don't mean back to the chalet. He means back to America.
Yeah.
So that was like a bit childish. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so whilst we're here, let's talk about Beandip. Let's talk about Beandip because, okay, AD comes over. First of all, I know we haven't spoken about AD and Clay yet, but first of all of the guys seem to be gassed about AD and how she looks and her body.
Yeah,
like she's
smoking.
smoking.
Fine.
Like she is
Sorry.
She
I just had to get that out for our viewers.
Yeah, she.
Spoiler alert.
AD's body is smoking, like she's on fire, and all of the guys seem to like her. He then brings up Beandip. He knows what Beandip. Laura had explained to him. No?
I don't think she did. I think she said, when you meet AD, just mention Beandip, because he then said, I don't know what that means. And then when AD then calls Laura then goes on to explain what it is. Because if he had known, why would he have said that in front of everybody and in front of Clay?
So he didn't know what Beandip was?
No, he didn't know. That's why Laura asked him to ask AD.
So I feel like that even just further proves the point that Laura, I'm so sorry, but how rude and immature is this woman? To me, she's more immature than him. That's why I feel like when she come over saying, oh, you're just taking it too far, like, calm down kind of thing. I'm thinking, you're the one that set this whole thing up. Do you know what I mean? And then furthermore, he couldn't get a word in edgeways. So no wonder he's saying, I want to go home. Because even they were like, do you think you'll be able to, do you think she's too much for you? Do you think you'll be able to, not control her, but do you think you'll be able to manage this? And he's saying, I don't think I can.
I'm right by mentioning that he suggested he wants to see Sarah.
Oh, yeah. No, he didn't mention that then. When did he mention that?
Towards the end, did he say
that's in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
That's in the trailer for the next episode.
Fair enough.
He said he wants to see Sarah.
Spoiler alert. So sorry.
No more spoiler alerts, Dr. Fred.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure about their dynamic. And even, do you know when they saw each other for the first time, she was like, look at your face. I just think she's quite rude. She's quite rude,
I think they deserve each other because the dynamics of both of them are very immature. So they might deserve each other in that respect. And all the best to all the couples, to be fair. Because I really would like to see some love out of this episode. But right now, I think where everybody knows the format and the dynamics of it, everyone's playing so cautious.
Yeah, they're playing a game.
Yeah. This season is very, very much cat and mouse, and who can get the upper hand and who can look good on camera, especially as the guy from the beginning, is he Martin or something? Matthew. He said that, how would I look to America on camera, and that was a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Because
He was like, America's watching.
Yeah, he's like, not about America, it's about the date that's in the next pod.
Yeah.
So people was very conscious of there's cameras on them this season.
Yeah.
And they have to sharpen up their conduct, especially as we go on to AD and Clay. Clay was very, 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 very wise on how he dealt with things and how he came across on camera. Came across very vulnerable, and the one, he kept using the same line because it looked like it was working. How she could make him a better man, and she could develop him, and I think that was a one-liner that he used, obviously, to soften her up.
Yeah, like, help me grow, help develop me. He's acting like a wounded lamb, and to her, and then at the end of it all, it unravels. He's like, I'm like a baby, give me your breast, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's a nice thing.
It is. It is a nice thing when you're not acting like a titty baby. Do you know what I mean? Like, grow up. Like, get a pair of balls.
I understand.
But, sorry, before we move on to them, before we move on to AD and Clay, what I wanted to speak about is two things about Laura. So it's obvious Laura's a boss, right? And I can't remember I think she's in business development. But she's a boss in her day job. And she's definitely going to be the one wearing the trousers in the relationship. But this is the thing I really need to point out. The fact that she went up to Jess and said to Jess, once she heard that Jimmy told Chelsea that he loved her, she went up to Jess and she was like, you need to leave now. Just trust me on this. You need to leave the show now. He ain't going to choose you. And Jess was like, what? Why? Like, why? What have you heard? What have you heard? And she's like, I'm not telling you what I've heard, but just trust me on this. You need to leave now. How? Like, that's not her place to do that.
Yeah,
Onyx.
I think she was wrong for doing that.
But it's a...
Yeah, I think she was wrong for doing that, but I think she was the only person that was going to keep it real. Instead of her, like, she didn't have to say leave, but giving her the heads up, like, this man is not going to choose you, but obviously not telling her about what he said to Chelsea, but just giving her the heads up. Because at least now, when she heard that, she kind of had the upper hand, because she kind of heard something, and then now she could kind of know he might not be choosing me, rather than going there thinking he's definitely going to choose me. Do you know what I mean? So I think she kind of knew that disappointment was going to come, because she had the upper hand of already hearing it from somebody else in the pods.
100%. But the thing about it is this, like, there's a way that you do that. You don't just go up to her and tell her you need to leave now. Trust me, just leave. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost like she's making the decision for her. Do you know what I mean? And that to me was, I was like, no, you're doing too much, lady. And then, of course, she mentioned about, she was like, when she met the girl, she was like, yeah, I've already got him to drop the t-shirts. I've already got him to drop the motorbike. Like, I was like, okay. Secret side of me is like, yeah, boss. But really, the realistic and rational side of me is like, I'm not really quite sure about this lady. She's a bit of a character.
Right now, they're a drag couple to me. They're the least interested, to be honest with you.
I do think they're the least interested.
I haven't been interested in observing any body language from them, because the guy's a bit of a clown in my perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think at the same time he had some good points about the house, in terms of he's renting at the moment, so he didn't want to buy a new house until he found his wife to do that together. So I did think at some points he did have some good conversations that needed to be said, and he did show his mature side of things, and I think that was good, because in previous seasons we have seen when people haven't discussed these things, it hasn't always gone well. People didn't want to move to a new location. People were moving in but couldn't pay to help, i.e. Stacey and Izzy. We don't want another situation like that when things haven't been discussed. So at least he was open, like, he's got the money to buy a house, he's happy to buy it with the wife picking out everything together, rather than having it already there and then someone coming in and just moving a few boxes to accommodate. So it was a good discussion. We'll have to wait to see what will happen.
But can I just say he's really good at painting a picture.
Great.
Because you've picked out a gem there. He's really good at painting a picture, because I was sitting there listening to him painting out his ideal Christmas, and I was like, beautiful, so sweet, so nice.
He reiterated that Christmas more than once, actually.
Yeah, and he painted the picture really, really well. And again, this is what I'm saying about the defense mechanism. He's good at deflecting from himself with all of the external shit. Do you know what I mean? Rather than him. Who the hell are you? Do you know what I mean? He hasn't told anybody anything properly about himself. He told Laura that he had a wide neck. And she was like, oh, well, your neck isn't that wide. Like, do you know what I mean? Where are all these things coming from? But anyway, moving on from then, we are going to move on to AD all day and Clay.
And I feel like
she's lovely.
She's in a difficult position because she had two connections, Matthew and Clay. Matthew is a mystery to her and something that she's never experienced before. So in one breath, I think, like, if he didn't leave, maybe she might have been able to explore that more.
Thank God he did leave.
But because he has left, she developed a further connection with Clay, which she did say that's what she's used to, but I think she was coming in there to come away from that, not to find the kind of similar guys that she's had in the past. So I don't know. I'm excited for her, but at the same time I'm a bit nervous for her because I don't know if the connection is really there yet. I think when they come out of Dominican Republic and go back home, that's when we will start to see the real connections from the both of them.
I think she's going to get sick of having to carry him, because he requires a lot of carrying. I think he is... One thing I will say about her, I really like her as a person, as a... I don't want to say character, but as a person. She seems so lovely. She's got her head screwed on. She's a beautiful soul. Like, there's something about her. Her body's smoking. Her body's amazing. I don't think she's the most stunning person face-wise, but I just think she's just got a beautiful personality. But what I didn't like...
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's really beautiful.
Oh,
yeah, she's
beautiful.
beautiful, but I think people...
I think all of the women are beautiful. Like, all of the women, one thing about Love is Blind, I like to believe that they put the best of America on there.
What?
Because they could go for the ratchet ones.
Oh my.
They could go for the ratchet ones, but it seems like they always go for women with prospects, decent family.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
What I'm saying? It's not like one of them ratchet shows like Flavour of Love. Where
Stop.
Where the young ladies are all over the place. Do you know what I mean?
But there's some attractive ladies.
God bless them, you get me? So I'm saying the calibre of the show, it's quite a higher echelons, do you know what I mean? The women have to have some type of ambition, so therefore to me that makes them even more beautiful in my eyes. And AD is a long, beautiful sister.
She's stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I'm saying? But is the guy ready, or does he just want to sign a contract with her to get to a certain stage in the show and then leave it at that? Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it seems. It seems very contractual. Like, she thanked him for this experience. She didn't even thank him for the love. Like,
did she?
Showed her, yeah, she just said, I thank you for the experience that you're making me have. And he was like, and she was like, thank you for not letting me down. Thank you for being there. Like, it's very contractual.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't much love talk in the beginning or in the pods or anything like that to keep them together. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, look, we're both in a situation where we want to go to Dominica. So, and we're going to have an unwritten agreement that we're going to respect each other and we're going to make each other have a good experience, or the best experience we can provide for each other.
So you feel like you feel like basically they've given each other a bit of a silent nod to say, let's just do this to see how far we can get.
Yeah, and she might be more invested in it than him because he looks like he needs a lot of attention. he looks like he comes across as a very needy person.
I think you're definitely correct. He's definitely a very needy person. I don't necessarily get the fact that I don't necessarily get the sense that they've kind of made a bit of a silent agreement that they're just going to go through this for the experiment's sake. But ultimately, I think, I don't want to say she's gassed him up, but she's brought him to this place that he's at. Do you know what I mean? In more ways than one. Because furthermore, if Matthew was still in the picture, then there would be no Clay. I really don't believe. Really?
I don't agree. I
think
agree.
if Matthew stayed along, I think she would have went with him. I don't think she would have chose Clay.
I don't know. I feel like we needed a bit more. We needed to see that triangle progress even more, because Matthew wasn't asking about her physical, how she looked, whereas Clay was.
Yeah.
So I think Matthew was saying all the right things. It's something that she's never experienced before, and she was intrigued, and I think she would have further developed that. However, we don't know whether if Matthew would have picked Amber. So I think she would have kept her options open, because I don't necessarily think she really wanted Clay. It's just because of the circumstances that she's in, because Matthew had left. But you're saying we're only getting Clay.
No,
I think we're only getting Clay because Matthew started off untruthful.
Yeah.
So she would be a fool to be. I think that's a major red flag in him. If she can't tell the truth from the beginning, and you say exactly the same word for word verbatim, said what you said to another person in the pod, it doesn't bode good for future reference, isn't it? You've spoke a good thing there.
Yeah, but if that's what I'm saying, if that didn't happen, then I don't think we'd see Clay. Because that's what I was saying. If Matthew would have come correct,
we would have had Matthew.
She would have been with Matthew.
I agree with you that then, yeah.
Because as much as she was vibes-ing with Clay, don't get me wrong, to me she was like, okay, he's the sort of fella that I'm used to. He's obviously a playboy. They did have banter, but she could tell from in the pods, he was all about the physical. That was his biggest problem. And the reason he's all about the physical is because really he ain't got no game. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have the minerals in him, basically, to develop a genuine connection without, the external side of things. And she could tell that from in the pods. So she was carrying him. She's been carrying him from the beginning. And then, obviously, he kind of, when he saw his competition, because he was so disgusted with the fact that his biggest competition was Matt. And he thought, oh my God, a man like him, in comparison to a man like me.
Yeah, it bruised his ego.
It broke him down.
It bruised his ego because basically he believed that he should have been the only person attracted to AD, and AD should have picked him immediately because that's the attention that he garners in real life, maybe.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But that's why I said, that's why I say, from a physical perspective, he could only lead with his physical. Do you know what I mean? But from an intellectual standpoint,
correct.
There's nothing to him, or correct. At least he wasn't showing at the time.
I believe there still might be some layers to him because
I agree.
We haven't seen everything, and I like what he's portraying thus far because he's been very respectful to the young lady.
I think I've warmed up to him because of that.
He started off a bit arrogant, must say.
Yeah.
He started off with a bit aggressive, even borderline aggressive.
Yes.
But I must say that his character's improved because I'd like to believe, as I said before, they've signed a non-verbal. They've signed a verbal contract between each other that they're going to share this experience and respect each other the best they can and give each other the best experience they can regarding the show.
So do you think that they genuinely like each other or not? If you're saying that they've signed a non-verbal agreement to kind of just wing it through the show, do you think there's a connection?
Yeah, yeah. There may be space for a connection to grow, but not at present because they're just fulfilling their contractual obligations at the moment. Be respect each other, blah blah blah. Be there for each other on camera, blah blah blah. Enjoy the holiday, and then when we get home, we'll see the other
Really?
layers. Yeah, I believe so, but I don't know. The body language I get from them is very solid body language. It looks like they're very intimate with each other.
Onyx, what do you think? Because I disagree with that.
So do I. I disagree. I don't think they've signed any contract. I think he has been out of line a few times, and she's had to reel him back in. And there's some red flags there because each time he keeps saying she's made him a better person. It should be he's made himself a better
in 2
person
minutes.
himself, not she's had to do this. He needs a lot of mothering love, and she's not his mom. So I have concerns that he keeps burdening her where she can't rely on him. She can't pour onto him because he can't handle it at the moment. Like, you know, and he's saying he's a strong man. He doesn't come across as a strong man. He needs so much help and support to get there. And sadly, she said it
Titty
herself.
baby.
She's a fixer-upper. But in this case now, she needs to stop being a fixer-upper and go for what she really wants. And stop going for a man that needs so much a fixer-upper because where's that landed her?
Yeah.
She hasn't got anywhere with that. So now, that's why I think Matthew, if he had stayed, we would have seen a different
dynamic.
AD because it wouldn't have been a fixer-upper. They would have been coming at an equal playing field. Whereas now, she's going to pour so much, do so much for him. She's going to be neglected. And I don't think it's going to last that long if he's constantly needing reassurance on every single thing and a baby.
Do you know what? I think there was something that was quite sad. And it's when she was talking to Clay and she was talking about therapy. And she was saying that, you know, she had therapy for the first time last year. And a lot of her issues stem from her dad. And then, you know, she's speaking about how she worked through the issues, etc. And then she said something really sad, and she said, "I don't deserve love." Did you catch that part?
Yeah.
And that was, I really like this girl. I think she's such a sweetheart. I think she's so broken. And the thing is, she gives so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's so giving. But I like the way Clay, which is why I've been saying I've been really harsh on Clay, to be honest with you. In the reviews, as you know, he hasn't been my favourite person. But honestly, seeing the way he even responded to her in that moment, I was like, do you know what? He's a genuine guy. Because in terms of their growth, or rather his growth, I must say that he is quite attentive. He is listening, and he knows and understands that she deserves to be treated with respect. Do you know what I mean? And I like that he's doing that. He even said, I know that I'm a physical guy, but I don't want to sexualize her. I have to let her know that she deserves to be treated like a queen. Because I was even really put off and turned off by the fact that he was just so hands-on. He was like an octopus. Do you know when they first met? He was doing too much.
But he was pleasantly surprised. You can't blame the brother, because, I mean, if I got out there and saw that big old balloon bottom,
oh God,
I think I would have taken a ride as well.
My God.
You can't actually blame the brother. Good on you, Clay. But yeah, I do. As I said, I wish all the couples the best. You know what I mean? I just think it was more love is a crime this year because of the fraudulent behaviour of some of the contestants.
Okay, so who are these contestants that you're talking about with fraudulent behaviour? Let's go.
Jessica, specifically.
Jessica?
No, not Jessica. Sorry, Chelsea specifically. because Chelsea has been very, very fraudulent.
Okay,
And
let's.
she ended up with the right man, King of Fraud, the King of 419.
King
Yeah,
of 419.
yeah, that's fraud in the streets.
Oh my god. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Laura. Sorry, let's move on to Jimmy and Chelsea. Let's go. Take it there.
Yeah, basically, those two are the least. They're the despised couples. These are the couple I can't say despised. Despised is such a strong word. But I like to say this is the couple that I want to see crash and burn the most.
Oh wow.
I wish all the couples the best. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a good fan of the show, but I just don't. I think these two people are horrible. To be fair, do you know what I mean? They was just very, very attention-seeking people, and if the spotlight isn't on them, they get very, very irritable, and they get very, very like, I don't know what to do, and that's very selfish. Do you know what I'm saying? They just come across very selfish. Do you know what I mean?
So I think the biggest fraud. I think the biggest or the most fraudulent thing that probably came out of Chelsea's mouth was that she looked like Megan Fox.
Yeah, I know that was bad, isn't it? That was a big red flag because she ended up looking like Michael J. Fox.
Oh, for God's sake!
Not in the face, but you know what I mean. Because you've told such a big lie, you wish you could go back to the future and take that one back.
Yeah, but she's insecure, isn't she? Because I think what it is, she sized up her competition.
Yeah.
And if someone is attracted as Jessica,
Jessica's
and she was
stunner.
like, if Jessica is speaking to this guy, then I'm gonna take over. Do you know what I mean? So when she knew who her competition was, she then laid it on thick, but she knew physically she couldn't compare to Jessica, so she had to say something good, like Megan Fox, to get him on her side. However, I think like
because so sorry to cut you, Lady Onyx. I believe that basically she only wanted Jimmy because of the competition and the rivalry with the other woman. Like there
Do you
was
think
a love,
so?
Yeah,
there was a love rivalry.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, and that's the only reason why she did it, because really, deep down, Trevor is the better person for her.
Thank you. I felt so sorry for Trevor. Guys, I'm a Trevor fan. He's so sweet. I felt so sorry for that guy. So, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think the rivalry was very apparent, especially between the men. Do you know what I mean? He wanted the man that he wanted the woman that the other man required. He had to get it because there was an easier option for both of them.
Who?
Jimmy wanted the other man's woman.
Jimmy wanted Chelsea.
Jimmy coveted Chelsea because Trevor coveted Chelsea.
No, I don't think so.
I'm saying yes because they used to talk good in the bathroom.
No.
Remember,
Jimmy and Trevor, they basically had like a mutual thing. Like the girls were cloaking down. The girl, listen,
with the Moet thing, yeah.
Yes, but
I'm saying they talked about their love interest together.
Yes,
and I'm saying to you that there was a competition, a silent competition, because we know how men are. I'm telling you.
No, there wasn't.
The
aggression.
There was a one-upmanship. There was a one-upmanship.
The aggression.
There just weren't no like ill feelings between them. That's why it didn't come across as a one-upmanship, because there weren't no ill feelings. But over on the girl's side, there was ill feelings. She had to get the other girl's man, regardless.
Right. The aggression in this triangle or square came from the women. There was no aggression on the. From me, there was no aggression on the men's part. Trevor and Jimmy were They were both neutral, and they kind of were both like, bro, like. They didn't even say made the best man win. They were just like, this is just the nature of the game, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're a cool guy. They both were like, Trevor's a cool guy, Jimmy's a cool guy. They spoke to each other, but they even said humbly, let's keep this respectful and we're not going to speak about the dates because they didn't want to muddy the waters. Do you know what I mean? So there was no rivalry between them.
What I'm saying to you, they knew that they was after the same woman. And that makes the prize a bit sweeter coming from a male perspective. That's all I'm saying.
So you think Jimmy pushed it?
Outdone your mate. The woman chose you. Out of you and your mate, she chose you. So that's a extra bit of pride for you.
Okay.
Plus, this was probably the way he went on. It was like the most attention he had ever had in his life. So
who, Jimmy?
Yeah. So and as well as Chelsea,
Yeah.
Just like the way they went on over the attention, crying, and when they got back to the house, you could tell that this was the best she had ever felt in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But the only reason why he picked Chelsea is because of the Megan Fox, and plus, she hasn't had.
Do you think so?
And because she hasn't got any children. Because if Jessica didn't have any children, he would have picked Jessica.
No, sorry,
Bingo.
Lady Onyx, I've got to stop you. Do you really think he only chose her because one of the reasons he chose her is because she looked like Megan Fox?
I don't think he had a true connection. He would look at the end.
Look
At the end when he was getting to the point where he was battling who to pick. If you really love someone now, he would have been able to have made that decision. So I think he was always going to pick Jessica. It's just because she had a child and he wasn't ready to be a stepdad. Yeah. If she didn't have a child, 1,000% believe he would have chosen her, regardless of that woman saying she looks like Megan Fox. Because when she asked, "What do you look like?" he didn't say anything. So she had nothing to go off just by what he said.
He looks like Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
Apparently, he looks like one of the kids from Recess.
Yeah.
Someone said that online. But if you think about it now, she knows that he don't really like her like that because she keeps asking. She keeps asking for compliments. She keeps asking. Well, she's like, "You're so handsome. You're so handsome. You're so this," and he looks so disappointed when he hugs her. The face is like, "This is not Megan Fox." He didn't know how to say it, but in the confession, he was like, "She's practically lied."
Yeah.
And
he was shocked. Like, "She told me she looked like Megan Fox."
And then he even mentioned it when they was alone as well. He said that basically she brought up looks.
Jess.
Yeah, she said Jess brought up looks.
Okay,
so that was another thing.
I'm a Jess fan, right? I'm Team Jess. The way Jess was she was a stone cold. She played this well, right? And said to him, first of all, I just loved the way she just finished him off, like KO. She was like, "I'm the best thing you're ever gonna have. Like, I'm the best thing you never had," basically. And then she was like, "And when you see what you're missing, you're gonna wish." Like the way she just dropped those dimes in his head, and he was like,
that had his head spinning.
Yeah.
That had his head spinning.
Yeah.
He knew he missed out on a good thing. That's why when he saw his potential future wife, very disappointed. Like he couldn't wait to compliment. He couldn't wait to see the other couples on the beach and compliment AD.
He choked. That's why he couldn't give her any compliment because, like she said, you're gonna choke when you see her. But he choked when you see Chelsea because he couldn't believe he missed out on Jess. Because now he's like,
and he still hasn't even seen Jess yet.
I made a mistake.
And he still hasn't even seen Jess yet. Like, and that's how he feels. But then he did say, "Oh, I'm fine with your looks." Like,
Guys.
We don't believe him. But oh my God. Okay. First of all, on the beach, was he flirting with AD? I don't get it. What was he doing?
He definitely was flirting with AD.
What was he playing at? And also, as well, she said we should speak again soon.
I think
Chelsea... What was that all about? First of all, why did Chelsea set up that whole thing? Like, her insecurities are driving me nuts. Like, I don't... I feel sorry for her, and I
Very
understand the insecurity and being insecure
very
about her
insecure,
looks.
But you have to leave her though, because I can see where she's been damaged before, and she's very, very much like AD in that respect. There's a power dynamic between them and their fellow partners, isn't it? Where their partners are high in confidence to a certain degree, and they're low in confidence to a certain degree. So there's a big power dynamic, do you know what I mean? And they put up barriers to act like they're not, do you know what I mean? Like they put up a barrier to act like everything's fine, but at the slightest minute they can change like that and start breaking down into tears and be doing self-pity parties.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with that, but I think she showed that in the pods. I think her
Yeah,
insecurities had been there from day one, so I think he knew that she was insecure. But I think in terms of going back to the AD and Jimmy situation, Chelsea did set that up because she sexualized AD's body. Why is she making reference to AD's body? And then when he's like
he said
going
it to
over
her as a secret,
yeah.
like, oh my God, she's gorgeous, look at her ass.
Yeah. But
and then she shouted it out because she's such a big mouth. Like, why would you do that?
But then he's had to go over to
that embarrassed
apologise.
him?
Yeah, but he's had to go over to apologise,
She's had a trend of doing that ever since the show started. Oh, the actual guy said that he loved me, and then the other guy said that he loved me. It's so hard. My life's difficult. It's amazing. She had a habit of coming back to the house and exposing everything.
Yeah.
And he questioned her on it, and she said that I would have never done that to you. But really, she probably couldn't remember because she probably told.
Well, she did. She told Laura.
She did say that to him.
But
though.
she did admit.
She did admit because she did tell Laura, and then obviously other people heard on Laura and said something, but Laura didn't go and say exactly that he told Charles that he loves her. She went to Jess and
was
warned,
like, leave now.
And warned Jess. But yeah, in terms of Jimmy going to apologise to AD, I thought that was inappropriate. But his eyes, he just couldn't he couldn't control himself. I don't know whether they were drunk, but AD was just a bit waved. But I think she's used to people coming at her like that, so maybe she might have been nervous and just thought, I don't know, what to do in this situation, and probably felt should just go along with it just to save face, because again, these are strangers. Even though they've dated, they don't know them.
They don't know each other.
So then again, it's just like, okay. But I didn't like the fact that she put the hands around him and then said to continue on. Maybe...
Who, AD?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit odd, right?
Maybe AD might want to open up more to say maybe Clay's not for her. Or Jimmy might be then saying, what does Jess look like? Have her made, as a friendship, maybe. But it was inappropriate. I don't think that was right. But Chelsea did bring that on.
100%. And then she's standing there watching. Like, why didn't she just go over there? Like, go over there and see what they're talking about. Just go and join in the conversation. Like, you're the one that set the quote-unquote joke up. And then it fell on you like a lead balloon. And then, another thing is he came over, sat down with the girls after speaking to AD for how long. Came and sat down with the girls. And he was like... I think Laura was like, are you happy? And he was shaking his head saying no. But he was saying, yeah, I'm the happiest out of all the men here.
Yeah,
but he was shaking his head saying no. But out of his mouth, he was going, I'm the happiest out of all the guys here.
Body language is a key thing,
Talk to us about that.
Body language is a key thing, definitely. And the young man did do said thing. And that is a key indicator of you verbally agreeing, but wholeheartedly you're not agreeing with what's happening. Your body is saying no to what's happening, but your mouth saying yes. So yeah, very contrary. Yeah. And as I said, she needs reassurance, so much reassurance. I don't know if you can give it to her. I don't know if you can say he loves her 3 times a day, especially after he sees the other contestants in the show.
Yeah, but you know what though? Because he doesn't really like her in it, so I don't think he can fake it. Because if you think about it, when she came out at the reveal, sadly, you know, you want to look your best, you wear nice clothes, you do your hair, you present yourself nicely. And I wouldn't be running for anybody in heels. But she decided to run.
Oh, stop it.
Unfortunately, it was a waddle.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't pretty.
Oh, no.
And that's
it was a waddle.
It was the first thing that he saw.
Oh, no.
And she even said how she ran. And I'm so sorry. He's got Megan Fox, Adele, and all types of things running across, thinking, what is going on here? And then a penguin. That's what he's ended up with, is a penguin. No offence to Chelsea,
and
but
she said she was sweating.
Yeah. So that's overwhelming if this is the first time that you're meeting your fiance.
So true. So true. Yeah, I know. It's like, and again, with the
their first interaction, very wooden. Nothing that really highlights love.
And or
indicates love.
And sorry to cut you, but
down straight away.
Well, I was gonna say, out of all of the contestants, theirs was the only one where they sat and spoke for about 5 minutes, or what we seen anyway, and then he proposed. Did you clock that?
Yeah, because he was so shocked, and he didn't know how to even get ready to propose. That's why it took him such a long time.
And he had the cheek to say to her, I was going to go home.
Yeah. Because he didn't want to be with her. He knew as soon as he proposed, he knew that he made a mistake. I'm telling you, because there's no way, think about it. He proposed to her the day before, and then that's a good 24 hours before he sees her again. So you mean to tell me, when you woke up, what changed? You proposed to her and you was happy in the pods. What happened since when you came out the pod until the next day to say you wanted to go home? Why? So you could see Jessica. If you're so happy and you've chosen the perfect person for you, why would you want to go home without her? That's telling red flags already.
Yeah. 100% red flags.
Remember when he was having an argument with Jessica, it was heartbroken for him. Like, when he was reading the letter, he knew realistically that he messed up. He identified with her story, everything. But unfortunately, we're gonna see how this one plays out. I don't think it's gonna go well, but as I say, I wish all the couples the best.
We've said a lot. We've got more to talk about because we've got episodes 7 and 8. I think that's coming out this week, Wednesday. So we'll be back here to discuss more. Before we do leave, though, Lady Onyx, what is your predictions for the next couple of episodes? Based on the trailer, what are your predictions for the next couple of episodes?
I think Kenneth is going to present a different side that we haven't seen. And I don't know whether Brittany's going to cope with that well.
Yeah.
I think AD and Clay, there's going to be some tough times ahead for them. Laura and Jeremy, I'm not too sure, but I think his eyes might wander to Amy. And then we definitely know Jimmy is going to end up speaking to Jess.
Oof.
And that is going to be something.
Ooh. Amy and Johnny.
I don't know. Not sure about them.
And who is your favourite couple?
I don't have a favourite couple, but I have favourite individuals.
Okay.
AD is one of my favourite, and male, I will say, I do like Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at all the bad things we said about him.
I know,
what the hell do you like about that guy?
But I still like him. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I can kind of understand why you would like him, because, as I said, as the episodes have gone on and we've got to see him a bit more, I feel like all of the bravado that he portrays is just that. It's just bravado. But deep down, he just looks like a playful guy, and he's just chilled. You know what I mean? He just wants to do what he wants to do. Hawaiian shirts, motorbike. He likes what he likes, and he wants to have a laugh. Laura's she's a bit of a witch. She's a bit of a witch, to be honest. Dr. Fred, tell me, what are your predictions for the next coming episodes based on a trailer? What do you think?
Well, based on the trailer, I predict a big civil rights war for Kenneth and
Oh
the
my
young lady.
God.
The young lady, you know, there's going to be lots of drama relating race and relating cultural aspects because they're both far removed
Yeah.
from each other's culture. And I predict lots of arguments really for Jessica and Jimmy. I mean, not
Chelsea and Jimmy.
Chelsea and Jimmy. Yeah, lots of arguments for them. Yeah, I predict a whole WrestleMania going on at the house when they for my old school wrestling fans, you know, for at the house for them to,
because it's constant backwards and forwards.
Yeah, and she needs too much reassurance.
And do you have a favourite couple? If you do, who's your favourite couple? Or who's your favourite individuals?
Just like Lady Onyx, I haven't got a specific favourite couple because, as I said, this is like Love is a Crime, and they're all getting charged with fraud at the moment.
My God.
So they're not being their true selves until the next episode's coming in. So right now, my favourite person is AD. Lovely lady. And because she seems sweet and honest, to be fair.
Yeah.
And
so my predictions for the next upcoming episodes, based on what we've seen, and even based on what we haven't seen, let's talk about Jimmy and Chelsea. I just know that these two are going to be going backwards and forwards because it seems like a daily thing with her. She needs constant reassurance, and unfortunately for her, I don't really feel like she's going to get the kind of reassurance that she's looking for from Jimmy, because as much as he has been assuring her, he's just not the sort of person that likes to explain himself. His problem is, as what Jess said, you know, you feel and you think these things, bloody well say it. Do you know what I mean? You're not saying it enough, and I need to hear that. And I don't really feel like he's going to be able to give Chelsea the kind of reassurance that she needs. Then again, and that's not a, I don't know what's the word. He actually doesn't deserve actually what Chelsea's giving him, if I'm being completely honest, because she's doing way too much. Chelsea, again, lovely, seems like a lovely girl, but there's a few issues there. And she really needs to work on herself, and she can't keep putting that on him or on the opposite sex, you know, to fix for her, you know. So I predict that they are going to have loads of issues. And then obviously we've seen the scene with Kenneth and Brittany, so I'd love to see what's going on there. I don't think he's being himself, as I mentioned earlier. I just feel like there's something missing there with him. So I know some things are going to come out about him which should give us a bit more of an indication about the kind of character that he really is. My favourite person is AD all day, as everybody else has said. And my favourite couple, I'm sorry, nobody's mentioned it, but it is Amy and Johnny, because I just feel like, once more, there's something that's very genuine between those two. It isn't cooked up, it's not contrived, it just is what it is, and they just seem to just be going with the flow, and I like that. So I feel like love may really be blind where they're concerned. But the question is...
I believe they're the most... I believe that couple tries hardest the most to get over each other's differences, try and learn each other's ways and, you know, morals, and, you know what I mean? I believe that they're really trying hard to adapt to each other. Like, that couple there has got the brightest future in regards of getting to really learn who each other are.
I agree. They're my favourite. So anyway, we're gonna leave it there, because as mentioned, we've got loads to talk about for episodes 7 and 8, and We'll see you in the next one. Big thanks to Dr. Fred and a big thanks to Onyx for coming on, and you can expect to see them in our next discussion within the next few days. Goodbye, my darlings. Until next time. Mwah.